Hello again, everyone, and welcome to P1 Broadcasting coverage of the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship. I am Mark Murphy alongside Kendall Paul, and tonight we're bringing you the Michigan 210. The Michigan 210, 210 is the mileage, 105 laps here from the simulated Irish Hills of Michigan. Tonight is the regular season finale of the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. Last week in Chicago, Chris Gones took a dominant win from Matt Sisler and Derek Welch. He won the pole. He did everything but set the fastest lap. That went to Justin Lawson. Nick Biddy took the hard charger there at Chicagoland. Get that up on the screen for you. But today is the regular season finale, and it is all about points. Chris Gones leads the regular season championship on 383 points. Matt Sisler, second, 376. Alfie Sharon Jr., 352 points. The real story, though, is when you get down to those yellow names, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and so forth, from 18th to 25th, those drivers are separated by a total of 19 points between all those positions. And for more on the points situation, let's go to my colleague and partner, Kendall Paul. Kendall, can you explain the points system for the series? Yes, it does. And speaking of tonight, we've got 105 laps on tap for our loyal fans out here. 105 laps, that's 210 miles. They will have 60% fuel, which mathematician Kendall Paul has worked out to be anywhere between 23 and 28 laps, maybe if you're cautious and stretch it. The magic number on fuel is going to be 27 laps. If you can make it to 27 twice, you can make it on 3 stops. If you can't make it to 27, you're going to have to stop for a splash at the end, and that could be huge if we get long green flag runs. The drivers will have 3 tire sets in total. That means 2 on the pit wall, and so they are going to have to double stint at least 1 set. There is, as always, here in the NTRL, 1 fast repair. Again, this is the regular season finale. Next week, we begin the playoffs, and we'll start that with a night race at Charlotte, 125 laps. Then we go to Atlanta for a 120-lapper, Iowa for 150 laps at noon, and that'll be fun. Las Vegas at nighttime, always a cool place to race at night. And we will end the playoff round at Talladega. The championship race will be held on November the 11th, 11/11/2024, and that is at Homestead. Just some quick facts about the Michigan International Speedway. It was opened in 1968, and it has it occupies a very interesting position within the history of racing courses in the United States. It was the inaugural new build for a company called American Raceways Inc. American Raceways Inc. was kind of the forerunner to the modern International Speedway Corporation, of course, now wholly owned by NASCAR, the Speedway Motorsports, if you will. They attempted to become a conglomerate that owned racetracks, and so this was the first. They then built the now defunct Texas World Speedway in College Station, Texas. They also owned pieces of Atlanta, Riverside, and they did have grand plans to build a twin to this facility in New Jersey, about halfway between Philadelphia and New York City. And so that all did not come to pass. That company went bankrupt in the late 1970s. This track was then purchased by Roger Penske. Roger Penske, of course, merged his facilities into the International Speedway Corporation in the early 2000s, and the track is now owned by NASCAR. This facility does feature a 3 this facility does feature a 3.31 mile road course, or it used to, and you may be able to see it in certain areas. With blimp shots, the remnants of it. The road courses here were laid out by Sir Sterling Moss, and the full course existed until 1994. The infield course is still present, although it is not used for any large-scale, big-time racing at this point. The 2-mile oval, though, is where it's at. It is 18 degrees of banking in the corners, 12 degrees of bank on the front stretch. That's the D part. And the back is banked at 5 degrees. In terms of all-time winners here, David Pearson owns both the most poles and the most wins. 9 wins, 10 poles for the Silver Fox. The NASCAR track record is held by Jeff Gordon. And this was a hot one, 206.558 miles an hour, 34.857. The overall track record, the outright track record, is owned by Paul Tracy, 30.645, 234.949 miles an hour. And race fans, that is absolutely hauling the mail. Looking in on qualifying, we've got about 3 minutes left, and let's have a look at the lap times. Derek Welch currently on the pole, not near Jeff Gordon's track record, but 181.662 for the number one. Joshua Moore is currently holding the provisional outside pole, 188.97. Chris Goins currently third. Alfie Sharon Jr. fourth. Looking at Joseph Bennett fifth. Michael Bennett sixth. Thomas Welch seventh. Matt Sisler eighth. Dylan Bryant ninth. And 10th provisionally was Zeth Hawley. Caleb Siss, though, has just checked in the 006. He cuts a lap, 180.936, and that'll put him provisionally on the outside pole. It does appear that we still do have four more cars yet to take time. That would be Benjamin McKinnon, Brandon Coleman, and Jarrett Woodard. And let's go and have a look at Sean Roberts. See if Sean's still out there on track. There's the 33, and he is not painted in the Paul Walker scheme tonight, Kendale. I'll tell you what, it is loose. My daughter would love that car. It is black and hot pink, and she absolutely loves those colors together. Watching Sean Roberts, his first lap good for 16th quick, 40.214 for Sean Roberts. That works out to 179.115. He's going down the backstretch now. These usually stick a little bit better on lap 2, don't they, Kendale? Yeah, he's a good 10th and a half clear of Caleb Sisk, and that's not something that we're used to seeing. Caleb Sisk in the 006 has been consistently one of if not the fastest drivers. And you got a glimpse kind of as we had you got kind of a glimpse as they go around the back in the blimp. You can kind of see some of where the old road course used to be. They would actually go out across the oval, kind of where you see that break in the fence. It's behind the scoring pylon now, but they would go out and then up into where the camper parking is now. And that's why they took the road course down, is that they installed camper parking back there. And there was a whole loop, and then they would come back down where this second break in the wall is, make a hard right, and they could go back to the oval, or they could continue along the infield road course, and it would rejoin on the front stretch. It's kind of a cool layout. Expired on the qualifying session here for the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship, Michigan 210. And on the pole with a lap of 39.650, that's Derek Welch. Outside of him is going to be Caleb Sisk. Row 2, Joshua Moore and Chris Gones, last week's winner. Row 3, Matt Sisler, Alfie Sharon Jr. Those are P2 and P3 in points. Joseph Bennett will start 7th. Michael Bennett will be 8th, so a pair of Bennetts in row 4. Thomas Welch will be 9th, and Dylan Bryant is going to round out your top 10. '11th on the grid, Zeth Hawley. 12th, Skylar Herod. 13th, Anthony Williams. 14th, Justin Lawson. Mike Carreveau will go 15th from Sean Roberts in 16th. We watched his qualifying run. Jesse Redding, 17th. Chris Klein, 18th. Paul Durkee, 19th. And Paul Ferdiani will round out the top 20. 21st, Nick Biddy. 22nd, Ryan Pasacco. 23rd, Joe David. 24th, Tom Barish. 25th, Scott Milner. 26th, Russell Endicott. Jarrett Woodard did not set a time, nor did Brandon Coleman or Benjamin McKinnon. They will start 28th and 29th, not pictured on the grid, as we get ready for 210 miles here at Michigan. That's such a fun shot when you look down at the cars on the grid parked like that, isn't it, Kendall? It is, and this is also one of my favorite tracks. Not just because I have a bit of history here on my own in the open wheel stuff, but this is one of only a handful of tracks that you can actually go to victory lane in. You can see it. You can actually get to victory lane here. Most of the tracks in iRacing where victory circle is, as the cars pull away, where victory circle is inside, you can't get to it. Here, you can get to victory circle, and so I always make it a point, if I'm ever the winner here, I do go to victory lane. We do want to thank Shugu, as he wishes the Sisk Speed Shop team the best of luck this evening, and thank you so much, Shugu, for watching. We do appreciate everybody out there that does watch us. If you like, please do hit the like button, smash the subscribe, do the stream a solid. We definitely appreciate that here over at P1. New channel, always some growing pains, and so definitely thank everybody who takes the time to do that. Pace car is on the backstretch. Field is forming up. Kendall, do you go hard here early, or do you just save your stuff? Yeah, it is. It's one of those where you really want to definitely be careful, especially on the tires. The green flag is out. We are go for 210 miles here in Michigan. Caleb Sisk is going to get the jump from the outside. He's going to haul off into turn 1 ahead of Derek Welch. Chris Gones in the 41 is going to try to follow him through, and Gones is looking to that's Joshua Moore looking to make it 3 wide. Derek Welch, the meat and the sandwich.
Down.
Absolutely. Completing lap 1 now. Caleb Sisk is going to lead that lap. Gomes second, Moore third, Sisler fourth, Derek Welch fifth. We're already back looking at turn number 1 for the second time.
The quick laps around here, last lap of 49.1 for most of the field. They all trying to single file out, but you still got a couple stragglers trying to pass. Like Joseph Bennett on the Alfred Sharon Jr. machine of that 78 machine. That's a battle for what, 6th there, 7th on back. That's your side-by-side battle, but it looks like maybe a battle for the lead shaping out up here in turn 3 and 4.
Absolutely. Chris Gomes going to draft up on the back of Caleb Sisk. Chris Gomes just goes the fastest lap. As you see, the purple lap, the purple number on the scoring pylon is going to denote the fastest lap, and that's important. As Kendall noted earlier, these guys are going to want to get that fastest lap, get that extra point. Caleb Sisk is under fire from Chris Gomes on the top. Gomes going to go for the lead. Can he make that top side work? He's going to have a ton of momentum coming down the front straight here, Kendall.
A ton of momentum, definitely indeed, and that's really important here in Michigan with those long straightaways, especially here on the DE Oval here. But the double 006 of Chris, Caleb Sisk going to take the short way around that racetrack and try to get the benefit out of that. It's probably benefiting the tires as well, but Chris Gomes wasting no time to get on that fence, try to get with the momentum around. He's probably going to get to the inside of Sisk here on the back straightaway.
Definitely want to thank Shugu. Apparently, Kendall, you were not able to be heard by our viewers, and so I do a little bit of quick surgery on the old OBS, and we got you coming through loud and clear now. So thank you so much, everybody out there, for your patience, and thank you, Shugu, for letting me know that Kendall was not able to be heard. And we've got a 3-way battle for the lead. Joshua Moore going to fire the 18 up the inside. He's going to try to take the lead from Gomes and Sisk.
Yeah, he wasting it, like we said, wasting it, trying to drive more now to the point, as he's going to take a short way around the racetrack. But Caleb Sisk, he's going to try that fence, right in the fence, try to get that momentum. And outside the top 3, they're just watching this battle, watching them burn their stuff up for the top spot and attack later. But Joshua Moore now going to kind of settle the lead. But Caleb Sisk, he's not done. He's going to go down to the inside lane of that racetrack and try and, wow, he's going to pinch him down the racetrack, but that doesn't stop Sisk. He's side by side with him a little bit.
Yeah, and look, that was some incredibly close racing, and hello, Lori. She says good luck to Derek and Dylan Bryant. But to be fair, I don't know if I would want to be up here running this hard this early. It seems as though you might be in a situation where you could burn the tires up a little bit. We'll go to the drone and watch these cars fly down the backstretch and through turn 3. The front 6 have kind of pulled a bit of a gap. So the front 6 would be Sisk, Moore, Gones, Derek Welch, Alfie Sharon Jr., and Matt Sisler. They have broken away, and you see the gap. It's about a second back to Michael Bennett in 7th. And then he's got some separation between himself, Zeth Hawley, Dylan Bryan, and Skylar Harrod. They round out your top 10. Joseph Bennett is 11th in these early stages. Justin Lawson 12th. Thomas Welch 13th. Paul Durkee 14th. And Jesse Redding is going to round out your top 15. As we continue to work laps, they're going by quick. Already lap 7. Already working lap 7 now.
They're working lap 7. They're working those tires, especially the front 3. I think Chris Gones has kind of thought better of it. He's going to kind of peel back a little bit, let them battle it out. As you see, Caleb Sisk is a little out of shape out of turn number 4, getting that car sideways. But honestly, I think the battling, if you are in 4th, 5th, this is exactly what you're wanting to see, is the battling, the burning up of those Goodyear tires. So Derek Welch and Alfred Sharon Jr. in that 78 machine right behind that number 1 machine, they're just kind of watching this battle, minding their P's and Q's, waiting for the perfect time to pounce, as it's still pretty early on here in this one. We got a battle for second.
Yeah, you don't want to, and that was something I was going to ask you. How much do you really want to race here? You know you're going to be short a set of tires. How much do you really want to drive hard? It also, just from the little bit of pre-race testing that I did, we continue to watch the battle for second. That is the best battle on the speedway. But from the limited running I did, and to be fair, I turned about 10 laps. But it seems as though the car is, whoa, Caleb Sisk taps the wall, and he's going to go to the back, still on the wall there. We'll see if we can't get a replay queued up for our fans out here. But it seems like the bottom can be very, very, very loose, especially on new tires. Does that kind of follow with what you felt? Watching Caleb Sisk here, kind of get in the wall a little bit.
And I think he's trying to run that top line there, and he just kind of overestimated it, getting up into the fence. It's really easy to do, and especially when you're talking about the looseness on the bottom line, and it really applies when you get below that first seam on the bottom. Once you get below there, it's really loose and really hard to keep the car underneath you. So you'll see most of the guys run above that first seam if they're going to run that first line. 3 and 4 is a little bit more forgiving on that, but still you kind of don't want to go below that first seam because just how loose it is down there. But you see after Sherry Jr. Towards the front, he's going to utilize that line.
You know, and something else that people don't really realize, and I know this because I've run open wheel stuff here a ton, when you come off of turn number 4 and you're on that bottom line, there's kind of a dip almost in the pavement. I don't want to call it a bump, and I don't want to call it a hump, but it's almost like the track falls away right there, and that can kind of turn you loose too. So watch these guys as they're running these lines. You can run an unlimited number of grooves around the Michigan International Speedway in any vehicle that you bring here, but if you're turning it down hard off the bottom on 3 and 4, it can really kind of fall away from you, and that's going to be key getting on the pit road. This is a very difficult pit road to get on, not because it's not wide and not because it's a particularly bad angle, but because the transition is tough, and frankly, it's one of the higher speed entries as Joshua Moore gets up and tags the wall.
Yeah, he tried to run that fence line again, tried to keep the momentum from Chris Gones, and he hit that safer barrier. He's going to lose one. Now working on the third spot, being lost here as maybe a little bit of handling on that race car, not where he wants it, as looks like he's now starting to struggle with that race car.
Yeah, and adjusting on the wall isn't likely going to help, or isn't likely going to help any handling issues that he's got. Joshua Moore going to attempt to go back by Matt Sizzler here, so he's got that car wound up. I don't see any obvious damage to the right side of that 18 machine, so took a licking, and it's going to keep on ticking here for Joshua Moore in the 18. Working lap 13, Chris Gones leads it. He's got the fastest lap. Alfie Sharon Jr. is second. Derek Welch third. Matt Sizzler fourth. Joshua Moore, your top 5. Back in 6th is going to be Caleb Sisk. Dylan Bryant, we're going to show him in that number 8 chrome blue Superman Pepsi machine as he gets it really, really free coming off of turn 4. But he's got his car up to 7th. Michael Bennett is behind him. Bennett is 8th, and we'll kind of just do an impromptu through the field. Michael Bennett is 8th in the 64 car. Skylar Herod is going to be 9th in the number 3 skunkworksgraphics.com machine, and then 10th, Jesse Redding. Nice run for Jesse in the 21. He's got trouble to his inside, though. Zeth Hawley in the 24 looking to take his spot in the top 10 away.
Yeah, kind of watching the top 5 there, so they're all kind of stacked up. Well, this is top 6 maybe, actually, with Caleb Sisk there back there now. All kind of single filed out now here on lap number 15. You'll kind of occasionally see Alfred Sharon Jr. He's testing that bottom to mid. Well, this time he's going to go the midline. But it may be a battle for the lead. They're side by side on turn number 2. Alfred Sharon Jr. to the inside of Chris Gones. Are side by side going down the back straightaway.
Now, we keep talking about tires. Tell me the difference. And again, I'm not really a huge stock car guy. You run these in your own series. You run these things 3 times a week. Talk to me about the difference between running the top and running the bottom in these cars. What's that do to the tires? What's it do when you pinch it down on the bottom versus what handling adjustment happens when you go to the top?
Well, what kind of I found is with Michigan especially, we ran here back in the first part of August for the same series here, the Xfinity series, but in my league, I kind of found that the bottom, you kind of save the tires a little bit better than the top line, but it is slower. But if you get a car to the outside, you got to pinch that car down to the bottom lane to not get into the car above you, so you're kind of wearing that right front out. But now when you start running the top line, as we see Derek Welch kind of get the car out of shape, when you start running the top line, you might do something like Derek Welch and kind of get the car sideways, and you're going to wear out the rear tires, and that's going to make the make running the wall and running a good exit even harder. So it's just kind of debating on what line do you want. Do you want to wear out the right front more, or do you want to wear out the right rears?
So is there a way, and we do this in the open wheel stuff with the tools, but is there a way to run one line over the other to adjust the handling as you go to kind of even out the tire wear, or do you even want to do that?
I mean, that's a really good question, and that's something I'm still personally trying to figure out myself, is kind of balancing out that tire wear right. I mean, I'm more of a person that I like putting it on the rears more. I'm more of a person that I like to run the fence, so I like putting that wear on the rears side of things. But I mean, more as I learn or that sort of thing, I've been trying to kind of balance it out a little bit, and sadly I didn't get to really test very much here at Michigan during the race, because like you were saying earlier, the pit road is very difficult to get onto, and I myself actually spun going down pit road a couple months ago when we did run here. But really, that's a really good question, and that's something I'm still figuring out.
You know, pit road here can claim you. It is difficult and treacherous to get on. By the way, Dylan Bryant and Michael Bennett have joined the back of this group, so instead of a 6-car battle, it is now 8th. Derek Welch has righted his ship, and he is now battling back with Matt Sizzler. That is for 5th and 6th position. Dylan Bryant now going to work to the inside of Sizzler. He's going to try to take 6th spot away, and Michael Bennett is just sneaking right up into that picture in 8th. He's hanging on to this lead group. So what was once 6 is now 8. Jesse Redding is about 2.3 seconds behind this group, and we'll show Jesse because he's got trouble brewing in the form of Skylar Herod to his rear. Now, we do have a car coming off a pit road. That is Paul Ferdiani. He has made a stop, 8.4 seconds in the box. He will go a lap down. That tells me Paul Ferdiani took gas only here, and he's going to do his double stint early, would be my guess.
Yeah, an interesting strategy. We'll have to see how that all shakes out as we're coming around to flash across the start-finish line for lap 21. So that fuel window that we were talking about earlier is starting to open. And if you're taking the double stint, like Mark said, you're going to do that now. So we're going to kind of expect these cars here the next 5 to 6 laps, possibly. Which also could be a question of how much of these guys are saving. Like some of these guys are towards the back of this main pack. How much have they been kind of just letting off the throttle, not using as much Sunoco racing fuel to either A, make the stop shorter, or B, go a little bit longer and hit that magic number of 27 to make less pit stops. I just had a brain fart. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So let's get on board with Caleb Sisk here. He's currently P4. And let's see exactly how much fuel he's saving. You'll be able to tell it by the coast phase here. He was off the power for an awful long time there, Kendale. He did not get back in the gas until they were almost completely off the corner. And of course,
so he's saving fuel, and then not only you're saving tires as well doing that. Why waste the gas mashing down the pedal off corner exit to get a run when you can just use the draft? So that's the big thing that these drivers are watching for, and they know how to manipulate that. So be interesting to see how much more fuel mileage they can get on that. But Caleb Sisk, he's battling for third, and also looking to battle for second.
Yeah, so Caleb Sisk taking a look at Alfie Sharon Jr. on the inside, and you saw it from what he sees. I love that gyro cam, by the way. Gives you a good indication of what this banking looks like for these drivers as they circle the Michigan International Speedway. 23 laps out of 105 complete. Chris Goins leads it from Alfie Sharon Jr. and Caleb Sisk, although they're currently having a disagreement over who's going to be second to Chris Goins. Would you want to? The draft does come into play here. Do you want to use that draft to save fuel as Seth Hawley comes off pit road? So he's made his stop 9.3 seconds in the box. So Seth Hawley gives up the ghost on the fuel save, and he will be making that extra splash and dash at the end. Do you use the draft here to save fuel, or is it a situation where you're doing it more with the throttle in the corners?
I think you use a kind of combination of both. You don't want to get mashed right back on the gas, that sort of thing, like you would do on a qualifying lap. Because again, you're just kind of wasting gas and that sort of thing, when you can just use the draft to suck right back up to that machine that's in front of you. So the draft and the throttle, both combined, can save you a whole butt-ton load of fuel. And I mean, you kind of look at it and kind of make the decision: if you're in the back of this pack, do you just sit here and save and save that fuel, or do you want to get to the clean air like Chris Goins is, and try to get to the lead where he's probably not saving any fuel? As they all looks like they're going to go down to the bottom side. Maybe Chris Goins maybe playing some defensive maneuver on Caleb Sisk here.
I think Chris Goins is coming to pit lane. Goins is going to come. Going to come, and everybody up front is going to come. Derek Welch and Matt Sizzler are going to go for the extra lap, but wholesale pit stops here. That is most, if not all, of the lead group, minus Welch, Sizzler, and Michael Bennett. Joseph Bennett also stayed out. He's going to make the extra lap. Paul Durkee, Sean Roberts, Nick Biddy, Justin Lawson, Anthony Williams are the remainder of the front nine. Benjamin McKinnon now goes to 10th. Watching the pit stops now for your front runners. They made 26 laps. Everybody down and away. I did not see any of those cars go up on the jacks and take fuel.
And now the leader of Derek Welch, he's going to bring his Toyota Supra down to the slow lane of pit lane. Probably at just Sunoco Racing Fuel. I like the call from Derek Welch there to bring in a lap later. Hey, he just got the point for leading one lap. So that's going to go look nice on the standings board. And one point can be the difference between being fifth or being sixth.
There you go. Now let's see. Does anybody go up on the jacks? I do not see a single car on pit lane that is going up on the jacks. Now, Matt Sizzler and Sean Roberts, those two have made the extra lap, and we're going to see Sizzler bring it down. I would assume that we're going to see Sean Roberts hit pit road here, and there he comes in the pink and black car, no longer in the Paul Walker Supra. He has changed the paint scheme on that machine. But Sizzler and Sean Roberts are bringing it down pit road. They made it to the start of lap 28. How about that, Kendale?
They're going a little bit one lap later than our magic number, so definitely some fuel strategy going on there. We'll have to wait to see how all this cycles around who's in the race lead, as everything's kind of still flashing across the stripe to determine your new race leader. But a lot of fuel strategy calls. I like it. Love me a good strategy race.
You know, we absolutely do. Caleb Sisk, you see him, he'll thunder past Matt Sizzler on the outside. Sizzler did slide through his pit box a little bit. Going to be interesting to see if he's able to regain contact with that lead group. What was so impressive about Sizzler, not only did he go the extra lap, but he was with that lead draft the entire time that we were going. So we'll reset it. First pit stops are now complete. Caleb Sisk is your leader. He went 26 laps, as did Joshua Moore, Dylan Bryant, Chris Goins. Derek Welch is fourth, and he just went past Chris Goins. Derek Welch was fourth. He stopped one lap later than did Chris Goins, so Goins back to fifth. Alfie Sharon Jr. is going to run sixth currently. And then you've got Matt Sizzler. He went the extra lap. He did take a little bit longer on pit road. He did slide through his box. He lost about a second with that maneuver. But Matt Sizzler back on track. He is seventh, and with what I would suspect is a pretty decent fuel advantage. Michael Bennett, eighth. Sean Roberts also with a fuel advantage. He is ninth. He's on the same strategy as Sizzler. Joseph Bennett will round out your top 10. And just because we've had a long green flag run, and we'd like to thank all of the sponsors of the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship. You can accelerate your success with Track Bar Media, tailored for small business owners. We craft dynamic social media content, custom iRacing videos, and unique merch with no minimums. Maximize your reach with our national billboard placement and meet our elite Track Bar Motorsports esports team. Track Bar Media, affordable, impactful, and fast. Race on over to www.trackbarmedia.net. That's all one word. Now to learn more. We've also got Beadle's custom car carriers on board. They create 1/64th scale model car carriers, and they also make all of our kits in-house. That's pretty impressive. We can make trucks to your specs. You can check me out at Beadle's Custom Car Carriers on Facebook and at Beadle's, that's Beadles, on Instagram. Davidson Builders, LLC in Cape May County, New Jersey, is a beacon of excellence in Cape May County and stands as a testament to family values and military dedication. As a veteran-owned and operated general contractor and remodeler with 25 years of unmatched experience, we marry quality with affordability. From tailored customizations to expert craftsmanship, we paint dreams into reality across residential and commercial landscapes. Check them out. That's www.davidson-builders.com. And then finally, hey, Num Thumb Racing fans, are you looking to upgrade your ride, whether it's your truck, car, Jeep, boat, UTV, or ATV? Prospec has you covered. Locally owned and operated in Jacksonville, Florida. It's in Duval County, folks. Prospec specializes in high-quality accessories and installation that take your vehicle to the next level. From custom lighting like underglow and rock lights to top-of-the-line sound systems and backup cameras, we've got everything you need to make your ride truly yours. At Prospec, we bring your vision to life with precision and care. Visit them today and see why they're Jacksonville's go-to source for all things automotive and beyond. Prospec, where quality meets customization. 32 laps into the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Michigan 210. Caleb Sisk is going to lead it. Derek Welch, we're watching, is second. He's followed by Joshua Moore in third. Alfie Sharon Jr. fourth, and Chris Gones is going to round out your top five. Gones does have the fastest lap, as noted by the purple place on the pylon. Dylan Bryant is sixth. Matt Sizzler seventh. Michael Bennett eighth. Jesse Redding ninth. And Sean Roberts is going to round out your top 10. And we'll go back and talk about some other guys that we have not thus far. Looking at the 00 there, that is Joseph Bennett. You get a good look at the Prospec Custom Accessories logos on the side of that Toyota Camry. Right behind him, you've got the 32 of Nick Biddy. He is 13th. G&G Marine on the side of that Ford Mustang. The number 9, the Mountain Dew Food City Camaro, that's Thomas Welch. He is 14th. And 15th, and we've shown him a couple of times today already, but Zeth Hawley in the 24 will be 15th. Right behind him, and you can see on your screen, that's Paul Durkee. Durkee in the 13. Is that Porter Cable? Is it Kendale? I can't quite. It is Porter Cable. Good looking car. I always like the red, black, and silver stuff. That looks really sharp. Justin Lawson in the number 20 People Ready Chevrolet Camaro is 17th. Anthony Williams, 18th. There's Anthony. 19th, Paul Ferdiani, the World Poker Tour number 44 machine. Awfully close to the wall there for Paul. He was the first one on pit road. He's been out 15 laps thus far, Kendale, on that set of tires, but or 16 laps now on that tank of fuel. So he's almost halfway through his run, or more than halfway through his run for Paul Ferdiani. He is 19th. Chris Klein in the number 51 Snap-on machine is going to round out your top 20. Mike Carvu currently runs 21st. Mike in the number 97 machine, and there you see it. Joe DeVede in the number 6 is 22nd. Tom Barish in the NTG black and highlighter yellow Chevy Camaro number 55. He is 23rd. Jarrett Woodard. And this remains my favorite paint scheme in the entire thing. It's painted to look like the old Dan Gurney Eagle IMSA cars. Love the throwback for Jarrett Woodard. He is 24th. Ryan Pasacco, 25th in the Wheelan entry. Scott Milner in the gold, red, and blue of Valvoline. He is 26th. Russell Endicott is 27th. And rounding out the field, Benjamin McKinnon in the number 12 Hellman's Mayonnaise Meyer machine. Both Endicott and McKinnon are 1 lap down. And we'll get back to the lead. Caleb Sisk leads it. The battle, though, up at the front at least, isn't really for either the lead or second. It's going to be third on back here, isn't it, Kendale?
Yeah, they've been battling hard, but I've been also watching the lead. Caleb Sisk, Derek Welch. When you started the rundown for the order, when they just came out of pit road, Caleb Sisk had 1.6 second lead. We're 11 laps on the stint. So 9 laps later, Derek Welch has chopped that down to 0.1 of a second now, and he's going to be right almost to the back bumper of that 006 car, as we might have a battle for the lead here coming in 3 and 4. Caleb Sisk, he definitely has not been saving fuel, or hasn't looked like he's been saving fuel, because he's been getting loose on the corner exit, trying to get every little thing he can get out of that race car, which I think ended up hurting the Goodyear tires. So that's what Derek Welch has been able to reel him back in. It'll be interesting to watch and see if Derek Welch just rides behind Caleb Sisk, or we'll have a battle for the lead here momentarily. But like you said, back there 4th, 5th, 6th, they've been battling, swapping positions for the last 5 or 6 laps.
Now, Derek Welch, we're going to hop on board with Derek because he had that car flat out of shape coming off of turn number 4, and you can see him really skating around. But he was doing something interesting going down into turn 1. He had that car shut off.
Oh.
So we'll see if he does it again. But he has caught Caleb Sisk all the way down to 6,000 RPM and really rolling very softly through these corners. It doesn't feel like Derek Welch he's caught him, but I don't really think at this point he wants to pass him. He wants to ride in that draft.
Welch there all along is to catch draft and use that to his advantage to save fuel. Very interesting strategy. That's very good intel that you just got there. So I'll see how long he can stretch this fuel mileage out. He got it to do it 1 more extra lap than everyone else. So we'll see this time around. Going to be maybe 2-3 extra laps that Derek Welch can maybe pull out of that thing and compare to the whole field. So it's going to be really interesting to see what that shakes out.
It may be, and I apologize to our fans out there, viewers watching. There was a pretty severe blink. I don't know if it's the server or something on my side, but there was a pretty severe blink, and Derek Welch's car does not look as it should, and so we'll give the sim a little bit of time to reload him. We'll also go flip back here and watch Alfie Sharon Jr. because he is under fire from Chris Gones. That is the battle for 3rd and 4th.
Not only just Chris Gones, but also he has Matt Sizzler right behind Chris Gones, and that's a 3-car pack right there. And Joshua Moore would love to catch back up. He's been riding that fence for most of this stint, so he's kind of almost in free fall, it seems like, to the rest of the field. But Alfie Sharon Jr. riding that middle line, getting the best of both worlds.
You know, and I think Joshua Moore's listening to the broadcast because he brought that car right down to the middle, to the bottom on exit, and I don't think we've seen the 18 run that line all day as we work lap 42 of 105, getting close to halfway, and we're getting close. Within the next 10 laps or so, we're going to see the second round of pit stops, and it makes me wonder, Matt Sizzler doing those extra laps up front, making it to lap 28 when he finally hit his pit box. He might have a little bit more fuel on offer. He's not going to have to save nearly as hard at the end of this thing. If he can make it to lap 20, if he can do another 27, 28 laps on this run, Matt Sizzler is going to wind up with a huge fuel advantage. He's going to be able to go completely full bore for the last 2 runs. And if he can make it to lap 53, which is 10 laps, and that's not that big of an ask for a guy who made it 28 laps. Chris Gones way out of shape coming off of turn number 4. Sizzler is going to get to his outside and go by here down the front. But if he can get to lap 53 By my calculations, that means he's only got to do 2 26-lap stints, and that means he's going to be able to pretty much go flat out on new tires twice.
And definitely that's going to be an advantage there because, I mean, when you can go full flat out, and he's still running 4th, he's still running well. You can go take that Goodyear's tires and just go full flat out on him. You can get some distance between them, and also have the opportunity to make a little bit more opportunities with those Goodyear tires. They kind of spread out there from 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We'll see if they can draft back up into each other. Maybe going to hurt Matt Sizzler's strategy, as he's not riding the back bumper of Alfred Sharon Jr. to save that fuel going here in turn number 2.
Yeah, and looking at lap time, so Caleb Sisk the last time by, and we'll flip back to the leader because Derek Welch is still in hot pursuit of the 006. Welch and Sisk last time by 42.266 for 6, and here comes Derek Welch. He's going to go to the lead, and I almost feel like that was Caleb Sisk pulling over and said, "You go on ahead, sir."
No, Caleb Sisk out of turn number 4. He hit the outside retaining wall, hitting that safer barrier. Going to lose all that momentum and just yield to position. That's all he can do for Derek Welch to take over the top spot. The question is, does Derek Welch just run away with the lead, or does he let Sisk have it back? I don't think so. He's just going to run away with it. Coming in turn number 4, mistakes proven costly for Caleb Sisk. It's something you definitely don't want to do here at the Michigan International Speedway.
Yeah, he's hit it a couple of times now, but Caleb Sisk going to fall back to 2nd. I was going to say they were running around up there 42.2, 42.3. Derek Welch last time by 42.166. That's kind of the same for Alfie Sharon Jr. 229 that time by. Matt Sizzler 321. Chris Gones and everybody else on back 42.4s. When you get back to Joshua Moore, you mentioned that he was kind of having some problems. Dylan Bryan has got past Joshua Moore now, so put Dylan 6th, Moore 7th. The last time by, Josh Moore 43 flat. So he is a good, and we'll watch the 18 here, but he is a good 2nd off the pace of the other leaders, and you can see why. A very bad loose number 18 Chevrolet Camaro for Joshua Moore.
And if we recall, the 18, he was running that up right next to the safer barrier, and like we were talking earlier, that wears out the rear side tires and makes it even looser at times. So looking on it, it's kind of starting to go back to the bottom lane of the racetrack to kind of conserve those rears and put the wear back on the right front. Really interesting, and like we said, he's just kind of stuck in a free fall position right now. I'll probably see him take a Goodyear set of tires to try to regain all those spots lost. But definitely Joshua Moore right now in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, and I'm going to flop back here because we have a mess. I have discovered the mess, Kendale. That is Sean Roberts, who is sideways. Oh, contact, save it. They all get away with it. But that is 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. You're looking at Skylar Harrod in 11th, Joseph Bennett 12th, Sean Roberts doing his best Eldora impression. He'll fall to 14th. Paul Durkee is going to go by and take that position away. But those cars were on top of each other for quite a few laps there. So there is battling that's been happening all over the Michigan International Speedway, even though we're closing in on halfway, and we have been, and I hope the fans at home can hear it. That is a knock on the gunstock oak on the floor that I sit on. We have not yet had a caution through 100 miles here at Michigan.
Yeah, caution free, and I'm sure some of those drivers are like, thank goodness that it's been caution free, and work that strategy. And some of them that are towards the back, they're like, oh, we need a caution badly. But almost to halfway, like you said, we do got one pit stop that I noted earlier, one lap ago, was Zach Howley. He came down. Looks like, I'm trying to find his time down pit road. Looks like he puts 4 tires in Sonoma racing fuel in that machine. We'll see how that shakes out for him and see where he cycles to. So he's on a fresh set of Goodyear tires. So we should see him about, 2 seconds faster in the field. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. And it'll be interesting to see when Derek Welch decides to come down pit road, as he's kind of put a gap between him and Caleb Sisk. That's been growing, 1.1 seconds to the lead for Derek Welch.
Yeah, we're well into pit stops now. So Scott Milner, we're watching him come off of pit road in that Valvoline machine. He has stopped, as has Scott Milner. Also has been down pit road, Russell. Well, I take it back. Scott Milner's been down pit road, as has Paul Ferdiani. And you wondered, we'll show Paul in the World Poker Tour machine, the number 44 there. If you look at the lap,
Trouble on pit entry. Caleb Sisk is around here on pit entry. He was trying to get down pit road, unsure what happened to him, but like we were saying earlier, hard to get down on this pit road. He hits the inside retaining wall, so trouble for our early race leader.
And that's a hard lick. The good news is he's already on pit road. The bad news is, as we watch the replay, Kendale, you can see the smoke come out of the hood, and that messed up a whole lot of people, because you see the 41, he is sliding in, so it kind of got the entry for Chris Gones. You're watching Caleb Sisk sit backward at pit road entry. Don't hit him, right? Don't hit him. Everybody does a good job, but he's going to need to get that car righted, and he's back in his pit box. Caleb Sisk, though, had to tow it from the beginning of pit road. As I suspected, that nose-in hit, and he hit right where there's an opening there. That would be motor gone, and so Caleb Sisk unable to get the car back to its pit box under its own power. He's under tow, 1:20 to his pit box. He will be able to effect the fast repair, but Caleb Sisk is going to go several laps down. You see it now. 4 tires going on, but a costly situation there for the 006 of Caleb Sisk. That's going to hand the lead to Matt Sisler. We do have Derek Welch on pit lane. We'll cover that stop. But that's going to hand the lead to Matt Sisler, and Sisler going long again. Everybody taking tires. Joshua Moore slides through his box, and he might have touched the inside of the pit wall there with his Chevrolet Camaro. Still looking to get it righted. Joshua Moore now goes up on the jacks. He's going to change 4 Goodyear tires. Watching Matt Sisler, he's working the lead. He's got Alfie Sharon Jr. behind him, looking to unlap himself. How long do you press this, though, Kendale? Do you want to go as long as possible, or now that you've essentially made it, you got 50 laps to go, you've got 2 25-lap runs, do you just want to come in, or are you thinking maybe, hey, I could get a caution here and maybe could trap some of these other cars a lap down?
I mean, the auto variables can play out in kind of the strategy side of things. I mean, if you got the fuel to do a couple more laps and just stretch that thing out as far as you can, you might as well. That just means less time on pit road later on during the race, and also maybe cuts out a pit stop possibly.
Yeah, I think, and we're watching him. He's got the 93 shut off going through turn 1 and 2. Picks his left foot up off the clutch and hits the ignition switch, and he'll or not hits the ignition switch, but takes his foot off the clutch, and the motor bump starts, goes down the back. Picture perfect fuel saving technique, by the way.
I mean, he's only running 1.5 seconds off what the Goodyear tires are, and he is going to bring that 93 Toyota Supra down to the pit lane, probably for 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco racing fuel. So he's going to go 3-4 laps longer than the whole entire field once again. So he's going to have a little bit of an edge here once he gets those fresh Goodyear tires, but how far does he fall back is going to be the question.
Yeah, now he's going to get the 4 tires, but he's only going to have to run Matt Sisler, by my calculations. There's 48 laps left in the race. That's 2 runs of 24, and we're fairly comfortable that you can go 24 flat out.
And Sean Roberts is also down the pit lane as well. He took 29 laps on that stint, so that should cycle the lead to Derek Welch as he's going to flash across the stripe. As Matt Sisler just now getting off pit lane, so A little bit of a loss for Matt Sizzler, but he's going to, like we said, have those fresh Goodyear tires to kind of recuperate some of that. And also, what is his fuel looking like? We'll have to wait and find out to see how that all shakes out. But he's going to merge right behind the Chris Gomes machine, and he's going to cycle around at 10.
Now, I bet if we go back on board if we go back on board Matt Sizzler, I've got a shiny new dime that says he's not shutting that car off anymore going into the corner. Let's watch him. He's coming off a 4 now. On the roll bar cam, and we do want to thank our friends at Whiplash Sim Cams for the wonderful shots provided here at Michigan. He's still shutting it off, Kendale.
So trying to save as much fuel as you can. It's a really interesting strategy. I almost would want to kind of get caught up to those guys in front of you to get that draft to kind of recuperate what you lost when you shut off the engine. But he has something in mind, and obviously has like I said, a strategy in mind, so we'll see how he does. I mean, we'll see how he flashes across the stripe to see his lap time here. It's going to be really interesting compared to the whole field, as he does have 5-6 lap fresher Goodyear tires. He flashes around at a 41.2, so he's running on pace with everyone else, basically. That's in, well, third and fourth, that is. You have to go up to a second to Dylan Bryant to run a 40.7.
Now, obviously, that saves gas, but is it going to save? Is it going to save the tire as well, shutting the engine off like that, or does it actually hurt things?
I mean, when you shut the engine off, it's not going to necessarily save you more tire. What's going to save you more tire is the less entry speed into the corner. Is what's going to save your tire there. So that's definitely playing to a factor for Sizzler here. As it looks like he's almost looking. Oh, never mind. Well, actually, he did run a faster lap that time. Oh no, sorry, a slower lap that time. By a good. Oh no, sorry, my timing screen is messing up for some reason. Faster, a tenth faster than Chris Gomes ahead of him. So whatever he's doing, he's saving and being fast compared to the rest of the guys. So, I mean,
now I'll tell you who's the rocket ship out there right now. That's Dylan Bryant in the number 8, the Chrome 8 Superman Pepsi machine. His last time by 40.750. So no more fuel saving for Dylan Bryant. He's decided it's time to go. 3.7 seconds behind the leader, but he is chopping that away in an absolute hurry. We've got Richard Mills in the chat. Says 00. Joe Nation, and we'll show Joseph Bennett. He runs 13th in the double aught. In the double aught machine, 13th. Had kind of a quiet day, just running along, making the laps. He doesn't really have anybody around him. Joe is, he's a couple of seconds behind Paul Ferdiani in 12th, and he's a couple of seconds ahead of Paul Durkee in 13th. So he's the meat and the Paul sandwich, but they are very much spread out here in the midfield again. 2 seconds forward, 2 seconds back for Joseph Bennett in 13th. We're going to go back here, and there is about to be a battle, I think, for third. Alfie Sharon Jr. that time, 40.737. Chris Gomes, 41.083. Matt Sizzler, 41.574. So those three were tightening up. Now they're no longer doing so. Derek Welch has picked up the pace at the front. Dylan Bryant chopped a second out of his lead, and Derek Welch has responded. He's turned up the wick, 41.069. His last time by. Derek Welch has stabilized and begun to increase that lead, but 9 laps out on a tank of fuel, he's going to have to go 54 laps. He's going to have to go 27 laps. A stint here that's right on the edge of what those guys have been able to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, good positive note for Derek Welch now is he got around that lap traffic. Now he has 4 cars of lap traffic between him and second place of Dylan Bryant. So he can kind of back off the pace a little bit, because it's going to take a little bit of time for Dylan Bryant to get through that lap traffic, and it's going to take a little bit of Goodyear tires to do that as well, as we might have a battle for second here. Out for Sharon Jr. to the inside of Dylan Bryant in here in turn 1 and 2, and Bryant just going to get the spot.
Yeah, I think Dylan might have knocked the good off of those Goodyears because he was flying, and now he may begin the slow march back down through the field. You can get these things too hot, and when you get them too hot, what does that do for your grip level there, Kendale?
The grip level goes down, and we just saw the two of the lap traffic almost go for a spin right in front of Alfred Sharon Jr. But if you get the tires too hot, you're gonna lose a lot of grip in that race machine, and your handling is gonna stink, and you're not gonna be able to crank some of these lap times like Dylan Bryant was able to do earlier. He's already dropped off a second and a half from what times he was running earlier on, just because he did knock the good off those good, well, maybe not necessarily knock the good off the Goodyear tires, but just heated those Goodyear tires up really fast, and they got really hot, and he's just gonna get stuck in a falling motion, and you kind of back down the pace to cool them off, and like some tracks, you can't get the tires to cool back down, so you're just kind of stuck.
Now this isn't Darlington. It's not Iowa.
Right.
It's not Rockingham. It's not made out of sandpaper. The surface here is circa 2018, and so it's got a little bit of age on it. But there are two versions of Michigan in the iRacing simulation. So there is the original version, which was one of the original tracks. So it dates back to 2000. It dates back to 2006. But the newer, so there is the old, we call it Old Bumpy Michigan. I don't know how much it translates in a stock car, but in an Indy car, it is absolutely horrendous. It is very tricky and very difficult to drive because it is very bumpy. If memory serves, that was the original surface on the speedway. Lasted 30 some odd years, almost 40 years. They did repave it, and iRacing came back out, rescanned it, and we have the new version. That's what we're on today. There are also, for people out there who wanted to know, different surfaces in the sim for not only Michigan, but you do have a different surface available at Pocono, should you choose to run it. The second surface, but the old surface at Pocono is likewise very, very bumpy. And then there are different track configurations too. For example, you can run Texas before they made the giant open end in turns 1 and 2. And you can run Kentucky before they did the same thing in turns 3 and 4. And that is almost like going to two different tracks. The same for Atlanta. If you wanted to run the old bumpy pavement in Atlanta, you are more than free to do so. You can do all that here in iRacing. Turn on the time machine and go back to when Atlanta was awesome. And so we actually just had a vote on that in the open wheel community. We are going to go, as we watch Alfie Sharon Jr. and Dylan Bryant, this is the closest battle on the track for position. Chris Gones, by the way, has now caught Dylan Bryant, and he's gonna look to go past Dylan for that third spot. Dylan Bryant continues to struggle. He is they were about even that time on pace, but I think that might be more of a situation of Chris Gones trying to pick his way past.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching also Derek Welch's lap times. They are starting to fall off now. His last time around was a 41.7 compared to Alfred. Wow, I cannot speak today. Sharon Jr.'s 41.5. So lap times starting to fall off for Derek Welch. We're seeing that be representative in the time to each car as that gap is starting to close.
Yeah, it was as much as 4 seconds before Dylan Bryant surrendered second to Alfie Sharon Jr. It's now coming down. Alfie Sharon Jr. 41.797 that time for Derek Welch, 41.615 for Alfie. So Alfie Sharon Jr. is definitely coming, although he's got some traffic ahead. You can see it out the windshield. He's not to it yet. There is a slower machine up in front of him that it appears as though had just gotten into the wall. And we'll check that. That is, I believe, the 97 of Mike Caribou. But he's going to have some lap cars to work his way through here. I always get confused with Mike's cars. He's got 22 on the door and 97 on the roof, so you got to kind of be careful with that one. But Alfie Sharon Jr. is going to work his way past. But there are lap cars in between the leaders, and again, there goes the entire server with a blink.
And it's not just you, it's also on my side of things, so we might have just had a difficult server, that's what we'll call it.
And that's something that does happen from time to time in the simulation. It's not anything that anybody's necessarily doing wrong. It's, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's an internet thing, and it doesn't really, it makes it difficult to watch. Talk about that, what that does to you as a driver when it does this, though.
Oh, especially when the whole field blinks, it's really scary, especially when you're doing close quarters racing, because you never know where they're going to blink back. They can blink beside you, on you, that sort of thing. So you kind of got to keep that in mind when they do blink, is to kind of give them room when they do decide to come back. It's also a very scary thing when you do it at Daytona or Talladega. We were there just last week, and there's a couple cars that did that, and it's very scary. Especially because how close you are and you're trying to bump draft them. So when they blink out, you're like, oh, where are they at? So it's a difficult thing, but it's one of the unique things that sim racing you have to worry about here on the service.
Yeah, and I'm checking my connection and everything too. It's definitely a problem with the iRacing server, and we do apologize to everybody out there watching us. Do apologize to everybody out there watching us. We're looking really good on my side of things. A couple hundred up and a couple hundred down, so it's just an issue with the server.
And like we were talking earlier, that gap between Derek Welch and Ashton Jr. is kind of stabilized now. Derek Welch is starting to kind of have a little bit of trouble with this lap car getting around him. He does finally do it in turn 3 and 4 here. But looks like we got one car looking to go down pit road. That is going to be Tom Barish in the 55 machine. We're going to try to see what he's on. He's on... Well, now it won't tell me.
Yeah, he last... So there are several people, and again,
he's going to come down and bring that car down the slow lane.
I do appreciate everybody's patience. There's definitely some sort of an internet hiccup happening here, and we definitely do appreciate your patience with it. It started to affect other things. I know the stream has begun to air out, and so we do thank you all for your patience. Working lap 75 of 105. Watching Tom Barish on pit road. Jarrett Woodard has pulled into his pit box as well. There are 4 or 5 cars that are on this strategy where they're running just 25 lap stints, and then they would want to. They're going to have to make a splash and dash at the end. Barish, though, he's been on pit lane in his pit box now for 55 seconds, going on a minute. So other issues there for Tom Barish in the 55. Going to go back. Look at Chris Gones. He is third. Alfie Sharon Jr. runs second, as he is still working on getting around. The 97 of Mike Carvu. And then Derek Welch is your leader, and whatever the connection issues were, they seem to have cleared up, and so fingers crossed. But the YouTube analytics just went back into the green. Everything on my side has cleaned up quite a bit. I hope we have not lost Ken Dale.
Yep, I'm still here.
Still here? Okay, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm here.
Whatever hiccup that was, it could have been something on the server side in the farm at the farm at Notre Dame maybe. But whatever it is, definitely appreciate everybody's patience. We seem to be much more solid now, though.
And now it is, well, now looks like pit stops are going to continue away. Another car down to the pit lane. That's the 31 machinist, Scott Midlander. And we got a lot more cars coming down. 2 more that come to take the bait to come down to the pit lane to top off on that Sunoco Racing fuel. And it sounds like Alfred Sharon Jr., he's going to take the trip down to pit road as well here. as I'm hearing over the in-game radio. So is Chris Goins, it sounds like. So pit stop's going to be coming here very shortly.
Yeah, and we're now in that window. We're in the window where there's 27 laps to go. So you can, with Goins coming in here, he's going to come in with 26 to go for him. You're now in that window where you can pretty much, you might have to save a little bit, but you're pretty much going to go all the way to the end here with full juice. Derek Welch is going to stay out another time. Everybody, I would think, is going to take their final set of Goodyear tires, and this is where I really like what Matt Sisler has done. Right, he is 6 seconds off the pace. He's still just kind of easing that 93 machine around here, but he's got a 4-lap advantage on gas, and so that's going to do a couple of things for him. He's going to have the shortest run of anybody on that final set of tires. But he is also, and this is what I love about it, he's also not going to have to take as much fuel. He may be able to short fuel that 93 car. And at a track that burns up tires, and this track certainly does, if you can get the thing a little bit lighter, if you don't have to take a full load of fuel, you can save those tires quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And race leader Derek Welch now going to take the option to go down pit lane. He's going to come down to take 4 fresh Goodyear tires of Sunoco Racing Fuel as well. He's going to drag a whole bunch of race cars down with him as well. So that's going to cycle the lead to Matt Sisler, and it's all in the spotlight of Matt Sisler now to see what he can do, like what you were saying, to save those extra 5-6 laps. So it's go time for a lot of these drivers as we're coming to the closing laps of this one.
Now, these guys here, they can comfortably go to the end of the race on this tank, and they can go flat out. Sisler, though, and Nick Biddy is also still out, and we'll go back to Matt Sisler. We'll go back to Matt Sisler as he makes yet another tour of the 2 miles here at Michigan International. But Matt Sisler, he can come in anytime. Now he's got 23 to go. He can come in anytime. Same with Nick Biddy. Same with Sean Roberts. Roberts has gone long. He actually went 1 lap longer than Matt Sisler last time. These guys can go, these guys, if they want to go as long as they can go, they're going to give up some time on the front end. But I would anticipate they're going to gain that back, and probably a little bit more later because they're going to be on an even lighter tank. Plus, they're going to have full use of the accelerator, and they don't have to go near as long on the tires, which means you don't have to worry about saving them if you don't have to go as far.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And the only thing that I have concern with that strategy is Derek Welch, how big of a lead he had was around 4 seconds. Looks like we got trouble a little bit in turn number 4. Got a car through the grass, maybe trying to get down to the pit lane. No, he's going to get back on the racetrack. That was Joseph Bennett in the 00 machine. Not sure what happened to that machine, but he took a little bit of a different discipline of racing. This is not the dirt. You don't want to be drifting around this racetrack necessarily.
Yeah.
Our buddy, some dirt race, but
our buddy Colby Pierce likes to do that. He likes to go take pictures of the guys doing the Formula D, the drift business, which you saw Joseph there go for a sojourn through the grass, back up on the track, and he is still very loose in that Prospec car. The 51 of Chris Klein also extremely loose, but Bennett has been down to the attention of his crew, back out and firmly ensconced in 15th. So we're just awaiting Matt Sisler to come in and pit. He has got everybody from P6 on back, 1 lap down currently. So Sisler leads it. Alfie Sharon Jr. is second. Derek Welch is third. Those 2 cars, though, are 28 seconds behind Matt Sisler. And there's Derek Welch. There's Alfie Sharon Jr. You've got to go back another 5 seconds to find Chris Goins as he works around. Mike Carvu, and then Dylan Bryant is 35 seconds in arrears. He is the last car on the lead lap. Everybody else is 1 lap down. If the caution were to come out now, that's a handy advantage to Matt Sisler. He not only would get to stop under yellow, but everybody else would have. And oh no, he gets it loose. Did he avoid the pit wall there?
I'm not sure. I was watching, trying to figure out the news with Alfred Sharon Jr. But I didn't hear any contact with the lane wall.
Okay, so we're going to go back and see what happened to Alfie, because this is not scheduled service.
So I was kind of investigating. I was back on the replay. Alfred Sharon Jr. on his pit stop, he took fuel only. He did not take any Goodyear tires. So I'm wondering what this is. This a stop for fuel for the end, and this is the tires as well? I'm not quite sure what's the strategy here.
It could have been. It could have been, and Derek Welch to go back to the lead. Matt Sisler has fallen to 4th. The gap that you were talking about, by the way, is it's 12 and a half. It's 12 and a half. It's going to be 13. Sisler is going to blend back out 13.2 seconds in arrears. That's a tall order. Now he's got 19 laps. He is going to be on light fuel, and he is going to be able to go as absolutely hard as possible. I'm kind of interested to see if he is. We're kind of interested to see what Matt Sisler's in-car tells us about how hard he's driving now. But it could be something as simple with Alfie Sharon Jr. is you go down there, you're in a race where there's tire strategy involved. It could have been that he had it set so that he had to manually check it and just didn't.
Yeah, something went wrong, and I mean it's going to cost him. He's back down to 18th and 1 lap down, so he's going to need a caution to get back into this thing. But really interesting, really costly. If this was a mistake, a really costly one for Alfie Sharon Jr.
Yeah, and we'll go back and show him. He is 18th. He has got his new shoes, but a tough break for Alfie Sharon Jr. If indeed it was a mistake, maybe that's a strategy call, but I've done that before. Gone down and pulled down pit lane and not had something checked, or had my fast repair on and I didn't mean to use it, and now it's gone, and so that's just a tough break for Alfie. But there's still time. We've still got 17 laps to go. Derek Welch leads it. Dylan Bryant second. Chris Goins is third. Matt Sisler fourth. Joshua Moore is fifth. And really, we'll go back and look at Goins, because the situation between Goins and Bryant is the closest battle really on the racetrack. You got to go back to Chris Klein and Anthony Williams, and that's 12th and 13th to really see any close racing. Alfie Sharon Jr. just got by Michael Bennett, and so he needs to get by Justin Lawson, and that's Lawson directly in front. So if Alfie can get by Justin Lawson, he would at least be in position to get the lucky dog. He was half a second faster than the leader that time, but it's not much consolation, is it?
Yeah, no, and especially when you have a 2-mile racetrack that you had to make up all that time on. Plus, with deep lap traffic, you got to get around all those guys as well, and here pretty soon he's going to get into the traffic of where he's going to have to gain his spot, so they're just not going to be willing to pull over and give him a spot.
Well, the good news, though, is if you look up the road, so you've got Jarrett Woodard in the 79 Toyota, but then the black car right up past Jarrett Woodard, that's Derek Welch. And Alfie Sharon Jr., we're on board with him. He comes by that time, 41.004, so 0.2 quicker that time for Alfie Sharon Jr. He's at least coming. He at least has that, right? He knows that he's got the speed. If he can just keep going a little bit, he's going to unlap himself, and then you get a caution flag. He's right back in this, especially since he's going to have the freshest tires on the speedway.
And also, you got to take into account how much of that Goodyear is he using to get back on the lead lap, and is that going to hurt him if a caution does come out? He's put himself in a really odd situation. He does have the precious tires, but he's definitely using more Goodyear tires I would expect probably if he gets around Derek Welch here and he gets a little bit of buffer, he's going to kind of back her back down a little bit just to save a little bit of Goodyear in case for that caution to come out, that crucial caution, especially if they're out of Goodyear tires. So a lot of variables at play for Alfred Sharon Jr. Just going to have to be a time game of waiting to see what finds out here in the next 15 or so laps.
Yeah, and he's pulled right back up. He's pulled right to the rear deck lid of Derek Welch and the number 1. Alfie Sharon Jr. going to get the draft. I would assume Derek, he knows the situation. He's got the relative up. He knows that's not a position. Alfie Sharon Jr., though, goes back on the lead lap. The next position available for him, though, would be Sean Roberts in 14th, and that is 5.5 seconds up the road to Sean Roberts.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of track to make up, and he's going to have to do it all by himself because there is no traffic ahead of him to help him with the draft. So that's just going to be purely on speed, and like we said, he's going to use that Goodyear tire set up. But I mean, he's got the healthy lap time so far. Just a question of is how long can he keep those good lap times.
Yeah, and speaking of good lap times, fastest car on the track right now, Matt Sisler, 40.780 last time by. He is 0.6 of a lap quicker than leader Derek Welch and second place Dylan Bryant, and he has rapidly caught Dylan. He's going to dive the 93 to the bottom of the speedway in turn 1, and we'll see if he can make that stick. But he is on 5 lap fresher tires, and what we would assume would also be a short fill. And so when he came out, he was 13 seconds behind. He's chopped that down to 7. Put Matt Sisler in the second, Dylan Bryan back to third. Chris Gones still rides 4th. Joshua Moore is 5th. None of those positions are really in dispute. How about Paul Ferdiani? We have not mentioned Paul that much in this race. Paul Ferdiani is 6th. Now he's 10 seconds behind 5th place Joshua Moore, but Paul Ferdiani, what a strong run for the number 44 World Poker Tour machine. Skylar Herod is 7th, and he has a rear bumper full of Nick Biddy. We'll watch it from the expanded blimp. Skylar Herod going to drive a little bit off from Nick, and there's Biddy in the 32. He is 8th. Paul Durkee is 9th. He's about 1.7 seconds behind that battle. Joseph Bennett is going to round out the top 10 in the 00, and Richard Mills, your boy, is in the top 10. So good run for Joseph Bennett. We'll go back and let's just for a moment, let's watch this battle between Skylar Herod and Nick Biddy. They have caught Paul Ferdiani. Paul has been anywhere between 1/10 to 3/10 slower than these two, and these two have been battling awfully hard, Kendale.
Yeah, trying to get as much as they can as this is the regular season finale. Gets a little bit side-by-side action there for the 8th spot with Nick Biddy and the Skylar Herod behind that Paul Ferdiani machine.
Whoa!
Bout had a little bit of trouble. Bout had the magical caution flag for Alfred Sharon Jr. These guys are going to start giving less room to each other because we are starting to get down to the closing laps of this one. So the all niceness, I'm going to say, and kind of just more the elbows up for some of these guys are going to kind of peak up. So that's why you're going to see a lot of close calls. But yeah, this battle for 6th and 7th is shaking up and that sort of thing. But I also want to kind of take attention back to the leaders. I hate to do that with that battle, but I think the battle for the lead is going to get good here the next couple of laps. It may not seem that way right now. You might be asking yourself, well, there's 6 seconds there. But what Matt Sisler's been able to do on Derek Welch is to cut down that lead a second per lap. So if he can keep that on pace, he's going to be right there, at the white flag, or even sooner. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he does. And I mean, what is Derek Welch doing? Is he saving fuel as well? Is he saving tires while Matt Sisler is using them all up? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see and find out, see what he has for him. The closing laps is what? We got 6-7 to go.
Well, I think Derek was listening to you because he turned up the wick that time, 41.565 to 41.371. Well, Welch versus Sizzler. Now, Matt Sizzler is quicker. I think it's probably a combination. If it was me and I was Derek Welch, you know, as we come to lap 100 here, you know, you're thinking to me, you know, I'm thinking, you know, if I'm Derek Welch, I don't have to drive as hard as possible, right? I can kind of hang out a little bit. I can kind of hang out a little bit. I don't have to drive as absolutely hard as humanly possible because, you know, hey, I've got a big lead, right? There's no sense in wasting the car. You see him out of the power. The flames come out of the pipes a little bit early. He's not driving the car sideways. It's sticking for him on exit. Why not? You know, Matt Sizzler, on the other hand, is driving his car 10 tenths. Half back, the difference was back to half a second that time, but he's going to run out of time. Derek Welch can afford to give up half a second a lap, and it's still going to be a healthy win.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that gap between those two cars hasn't closed as rapidly as it was earlier. I think the tires on Matt Sizzler's machine is starting to fall off, and the combination of he has to get around lap traffic. He does have a little bit of fresh air now, but I think he's going to run out of time here unless he has one Hail Mary of a call here with the Goodyear tires. But we're going to come around the flash cross stripe to lap 102. So I think Matt Sizzler's going to run out of time unless we get a caution flag here. Yeah,
he's running it for all it's worth, and it's interesting. You watch Matt Sizzler go into turn one here. He is hauling it. You don't see the flames come out until almost the beginning of the corner. That's going to denote where he's lifting. Watch Derek Welch go down the back. You know, Matt Sizzler, again, he's driving 10 tenths. Derek Welch, probably not so much. You can stay on the power until really you get halfway to the apex here before you really got to start lifting if you're going for it. Derek Welch not doing that. We saw him coming down the front straight the last time. He lifted out quite a bit earlier than Matt Sizzler, and I almost think he might be saving gas. Let's go on board with the leader, Derek Welch. See, he's going all the way down to 6,000 on the tack there. So Derek Welch is definitely not full chase. And some of that could be tires too, could it not?
Yeah,
No.
it could be.
No, that baby's shut off. So Derek Welch is saving gas. Does he have enough fuel to make it?
And that's the question that just came to my mind is, does he have enough fuel to make it, or is he just saving that because he does have a gap in case of a green-white checkered? If he's short 2 laps on a green-white checkered or something. We got 2 laps to go, so I mean, you're committed to the strategy that you have. You either run out or you're going to cross the start-finish line first. So I mean,
it was
interesting to see. I mean,
it was over a second that last time though. Derek Welch 42.985 to Matt Sizzler 41.807. We may have the classic tortoise in the hare brewing here, race fans. We're gonna come around here and we're gonna get the white flag from Barney. 1 lap to go. Next time by. No, this time by. Here it is. So Derek Welch under the white flag. He's going to go down into turn 1. And again, that car is off. And it was off for a while. Normally you don't shut it down until you get the thing turned in. He's leaving it off for a while. Makes me wonder, does he have enough gas?
Yeah, if he's still shutting it off, he's still worried about the fuel. Obviously, it's cut. His lead went from 2 seconds at the start-finish line down to 1. But he just has 2 quarters of racetrack left here. Going to 3 and 4, you're going to come collect the checkered flag for Derek Welch.
Well, he's coming off of turn number 4 now. He can almost coast from home, but there's Matt Sizzler in the picture. Coming for the flag. It's going to be Derek Welch. Is he out of gas? He's out of gas.
You got that. That had to be
That is a photo. That is a photo finish. The margin of victory for Derek Welch, .004. That car ran out of gas, and we're going to show it to you from a couple of different angles here, because that is unreal. We're going to get on the roll bar. So here's Derek Welch coming off of turn 4. It's out there. You see it. You hear it coughing. It's out. He's going to get all the way to the bottom of the speedway. Now we're going to do the same thing for Matt Sizzler. So this is what Matt Sizzler sees. Full chase, all the way in the gas, going through turns 3 and 4. And watch out the windshield, fans. You're gonna see that's the leader, and Matt Sizzler. That little bobble might have cost him the win right there. He got kind of sideways coming off of 4, all the way hard on the gas, and that's what he sees.
I mean, definitely a heartbreak for Matt Sizzler, because I mean, only 4 thousandths of a second. You could gain that literally anywhere on the racetrack. So he's probably thinking to himself, what could I have done differently? Where could I gain that 4 thousandths of a second? It literally anywhere on the racetrack. Really heartbreaking for Matt Sizzler there. But an amazing job by Derek Welch, as he's just going to coast that thing, and he's going to have enough fuel for burnout. So disappointing for Derek Welch there for him. But I mean, excitement of the win by 4 thousandths of a second. That's the closest that I've seen it here at the Michigan International Speedway.
And there's about as close as I can. That's about as close as I can get it to the.
And did you see the margin of the difference in speed coming across the start-finish line? Derek Welch, he was only at 137 miles an hour going across the start-finish line, of course, because out of fuel. Matt Sizzler was cooking with 180 miles an hour coming to the line. So that was crazy within itself. Right there, come towards the line.
Absolutely. So we do have a final result here in the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship Michigan 210. Derek Welch is going to take the win. He led 52 laps on a 3-stopper and did not have a drop of fuel in the number 1 machine, but he does take home the flag. 4 thousandths of a second. Matt Sizzler is second. What a great job he did all day going long. Dylan Bryant will round out the podium. Chris Goins takes home the fastest lap. He led 13 circuits, and he starts 4th. He finishes 4th. Joshua Moore is going to round out the top 5. Nick Biddy is 6th. Paul Durkee 7th. Skylar Harrod is 8th. Joseph Bennett is 9th. And Sean Roberts will round out your top 10. 11th is Anthony Williams. 12th, Chris Klein. 13th, Alfie Sharon Jr. So he did make it back. He did make it back into the top 15 with a shout at getting into the top 10. So nice recovery job there for Alfie Sharon Jr. Michael Bennett 14th. Zeth Hawley is 15th. All of these cars 1 lap down. Jesse Redding 16th. Joe David 17th. Mike Corvu 18th. Justin Lawson 19th. Thomas Welch is going to be 20th. 21st, Paul Ferdiani. 22nd, Ryan Pisacco. 23rd, Scott Milner. 24th, Russell Endicott. Benjamin McKinnon 25th. Jarrett Woodard 26th. Out of the race, 27th, Tom Barish. 28th, Caleb Sisk after contact with a pit wall. And Brandon Coleman, 29th, did not take the start. Let's get the results out of here. And thank you, Lori Vaught. Thank you, Lori Vaught. She sends her congratulations to Derek. And so, Lori, we definitely do thank you for that. Speaking of Derek, let's get down here and see if we can't bring up 3rd place, Dylan Bryant. Dylan, Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
That was a pretty interesting finish from where we sat. You didn't seem to have much of a part in it, though. Kind of talk to us about your day.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, a podium here's great, but just basically chasing fuel. I realized on lap, I think like 54 or so, I was 1.5 gallons short. So I started clutching it. And by the time I got done with that stint that got me up to like 70 5:76. I was 0.2 short, so I had to save a tad bit more. But outstanding job though to Matt with. I guess he was saving fuel a lot more than we was to be able to get 3 or 4 laps farther out than us over the course of the entire race, and it almost paid off for him. And I was kind of on the same strategy as Derek was, and I don't think he was saving. And I'm like, man, he's cutting it close because I knew I was close. So, but overall, though, it was a good race. So.
Yeah, he did cut it close. He ran out coming off of 4, and the margin of victory was 0.004 of a second between him and Matt Sisler. So he cut it real close. Kendall, anything for Dylan Bryan today, our third place finisher?
If we're still on the third place finish, I mean, is there anything else you could have done here in the late going to maybe get that extra lap or that extra pace to get up towards the front to battle out for the lead?
No. Just I kind of just want paying attention to the feel, and I'm typically one of the guys that likes to stay out until the very last second to make my last stop, or just stops throughout the stints, and that way I can be more of a chaser instead of me getting chased down. I really do the chasing, but when Derek's basically perfect the entire night, and his speed, I would like to think I had something for him, but then again, man, he was lights out fast in practice, qualifying. I think he was on pole with a 0.6, which was almost a half second faster than me. So third place ain't bad. So I'm good.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on a fine regular season. You ready for the playoffs, my man?
Yeah. I got some good tracks coming up, and hopefully I can snack up a win early and stack up the points, and at least make it to the last race to at least have a shot.
Absolutely. Well, Dylan, congratulations on your fine run to third. Any friends, family, sponsors you'd like to give a shout out to today, sir?
Yeah, just All-Star Racing with Russell. He kind of got spun out, and of course it won the caution for it. But a shout out to him. A shout out to Matt on second. I know that he's been chasing his first win here, and it's getting close for him. A huge shout out to Derek. I'm pumped up that he actually whooped our tails tonight. So I haven't seen him running that good in a while. So a shout out to him for everything that he does, NTRL, all the admins, and just everybody here, man. It's a great league. I've been in this league for over two years now I think. So it's a great place to be, and also y'all, man, y'all been doing a great job, and y'all filled up some big shoes, and I definitely look forward to going back and watching the broadcast.
We definitely appreciate that. There was a point, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but for both Kendall and I, for maybe about 5 minutes in the middle, the whole server was blinking, and so I don't know if that happened to you guys, but it was kind of interesting times for us in the middle of the race. Thankfully, it cleaned up, and we were able to bring you guys a great finish. And again, congratulations on third place tonight, Dylan. Keep going fast and having fun, my friend.
All right, guys. Well, I'll catch y'all next week.
All right, that's Dylan Bryant. He is going to run third today. We'll get the scene changed, and we'll bring up second place, Matt Sisler. Matt, Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
0.004 of a second. So I gotta ask. One, I'm gonna have to get me a tutorial from you on how to save fuel, because you went 2 laps longer than everybody else 3 times, and so kudos to you. Were you actually on that last run Did you actually take light fuel, or did you take a full tank anyway?
Oh, I took a full tank because there's been times in the past where it comes down to fuel mileage, and I actually lost a truck league race at Talladega on Thursday last week because I had to pit when there was a caution and going to overtime. I didn't have enough, so I wanted enough to be able to push, and like if we get a caution, God forbid, with like 2 to go, you know, I don't have to pit. I can stay out and be in the lead, or be like at least outside of Derek for a final restart. But I mean, what can I give him credit? We had an incredibly good 3 birdies Toyota Supra, you know, my home race of the guy who runs this company, and we were, you know, I thought we had it. You know, I gave it everything on that last run. We were full speed, and you know, when we started that last lap, I did not honestly think we had anything for him. And then, you know, even off a turn into turn 3, I was like, what, 1.5 back, and then like my brain just didn't register quick enough that it was how quickly the relative was coming down. I didn't know he was out. So and I realized it at the last second, but I didn't quite get low enough to maybe steal the win from him. But, you know, doff the cap to Derek. That was incredible. We so close.
Yeah, he was.
We were right there.
When you go back and watch it, we showed it from both your in cars, and he was sputtering coming off of 4. It was still running coming to the line, but it wasn't running very quickly. And so, just shout out to you and kudos to you for that amazing chase. That was a lot of fun to watch. Kendale, anything for our second place by an eyelash finisher, Matt Sisler?
Ow.
Congrats on the second place, and I know how much 0.004 of a second from a win burns, but how do you reset and now prepare for the playoffs as the regular season is now over?
Just take the positives on. You know, we have a lot of momentum coming out of my home track. My home track has been one that's either feast or famine. We either run really well or we have a problem, and it's today we did have, you know, we had the right strategy, you know, no cautions to interrupt the fuel mileage situation, and you know, we got to take it to these playoffs. You know, we're right there with the 41 and the 78. There are going to be tough outs. I know Caleb dropped out today, but I know he's going to be a threat if he's a playoff driver. Dylan Bryant, who got third today, he's going to be a playoff driver. He's going to be a tough out. So we just got to take the positives. We had a bad, fast car and, you know, bad, fast driver behind the wheel. And we just got to remember that and go forward and try to put our 3 birdies golf company Supra, if not in victory lane, keep it in position to just keep advancing through the rounds.
And that's the name of the game. Survive and advance. And so thank you so much for coming on with us, Matt. Finish second. Friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to tonight, the floor is yours, my man.
All right, I appreciate it, Mark. Obviously, our primary sponsor, 3 Birdies Golf Company, they were awesome to come on board and do this, and almost got you the win, John. I was that close, but we'll get one eventually here. Big thanks to them for the sponsorship, and they're doing a little thing right now where they're selling off some gear for $15, and it's half the proceeds are going to Hurricane Helene relief funds. So you guys can check them out at 3birdiesgolf.com. Celsius for providing the quick energy today and almost being enough to get our car in victory lane. Not quite. Gear Wrench, Peace, Love, and Paws Rescue out of Southeast Michigan here, and you know, can't forget the awesome job you guys have done with the broadcast, Mark and Kendale, and Derek, for not just the incredible strategy play, but also for putting this on, and everybody at NTRL for putting this on. This has been a lot of fun coming on as a rookie, and you know, we've had a great first 10 races, and we're looking forward to the final. We're looking forward to the run to the finals.
Absolutely. Well, that's Matt Sisler, P2 today. You'll get your win. You'll get your win soon. Don't worry about that. Just keep going fast and having fun, and we'll see you next week. All right.
All right. Sounds good, Mark. You take care.
Yes, sir. So we'll get the screen reset. We'll bring up Derek Welch. Now, Derek is the head of the series, and so we're gonna have to be mindful to mind our P's and Q's while he's up here. But let's get Derek Welch. Let's get Derek Welch on the broadcast. Derek, Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
What's up, guys?
So, how much fuel did it have in it when you crossed the line? That's what I got to know.
When I crossed the finish line at the end of the race, none. It was sputtering. I actually had 0.5 when I crossed the start-finish line.
That's
start of the last lap.
That's not a lot. So, congratulations on the win. It's been a long time coming this season. I don't believe you've won since we started the broadcast. So, congratulations on that. Talk us through your day.
Well, I had a great car. I love the way it handled. I'm a real big fan of loose cars. If the car stays loose the entire time, I'm usually pretty fast. But the car handled great for me all night, and I was able to save the tires. The right rear was burning off most of these cars out here, and I was able to keep my wear pattern between my right front and my right rear pretty even the entire run. I was able to. Caleb was there leading, and I was able to get behind Caleb, and I kind of hang behind Caleb for a little bit, and he just not really going to pressure him for a pass, and he hit the wall there, and I was able to pass him, and I never looked back then. And I when I started that last run, I thought I had enough, and it was saying I had enough, and I knew Sisler took tires a little later than I did, and I seen them coming up on me. I was just out there, just pacing around, and so I think I started pushing the car a little bit too harder than I wanted to. That's the reason my fuel didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out, and I didn't realize I ate that much fuel doing so. So it almost bit me in the butt, but it was hey, I ended the race in first. Is all that matters.
Hey, whether it's 4 seconds, 0.4 of a second, or 4 thousandths of a second, it doesn't matter if you get the trophy, right?
That's right.
So, congratulations on your win, Kendall. Any questions for anything from you for our winner and boss man this evening?
Yeah, obviously a lot of momentum here coming into the playoffs. Obviously last week a third place finish. Now, of course, the win here at Michigan. How do you keep the momentum rolling for the playoffs and ultimately trying to get to that championship title?
Just staying consistent. That's been my big issue this season. I think it's been consistent, being consistent every race. So that's my main goal. I don't have to really win them. I just need to win that last race. So if I can stay consistent, stay in the top 10, top 15 first 3 races, I should be fine. But hopefully I can make the championship run, and that's the only race I need to win, is that one right there. So that's my goal.
There you go, Derek. Well, congratulations on the win tonight. You definitely head into the playoffs with a ton of momentum. Any friends, family, sponsors you'd like to shout out today, sir, from Victory Lane? The floor is yours.
Just all the guys here at NTRL. This league wouldn't be as successful as it is without them guys. A bunch of great race tonight, caution free. I think that's our second straight race. Not in this league, but we had a caution-free Gen 6 race last Tuesday. Now another caution-free race for the Xfinity lead. So great job to the guys, and to my teammates, Mark, Chris, Klein, Scott Milner, Thomas Welch, and Tom Barish. And the laureate there, big shout out to her, VRL. And that's it.
All right, my man. Well, congratulations. Go celebrate your big win. Keep going fast and having fun, Derek.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. So that is tonight's winner, Derek Welch, and we'll go ahead and make sure the Discord is clear. Kendall, we saw a pretty good race tonight. We saw quite a bit of action through the field. We saw multiple strategies. We saw all kinds of different thoughts with tires and fuel. What are your takeaways as we head into the playoffs with regard to the NTRL and the field and what happens next?
Like I said, it was a very good race on the fuel strategy and tire strategy sort of things. And I mean, It's going to be interesting to see how much this translates over to the playoffs. I mean, like Caleb Sisk, he had a mistake on pit road, and that's something you got to iron out for the playoffs. You cannot make a mistake in the playoffs, so it's good to make it here at the regular season, but once we get into the playoffs, you really can't make any of those mistakes because that's just going to end your championship hopes. But a lot of guys carrying a lot of momentum into the playoffs for the start next week. So it's going to be really interesting to watch and find out. And another really good race here in the NTRL Xfinity Series. We'll have to see what Charlotte has to hold next week. I believe that's next week.
Yeah, so for the playoffs, we do have a 125 lapper. That is a night race on October the 7th. It'll be on October 14th. We're a week behind. October 21st, we're going to go to Old Atlanta. So not the high-banked, narrow new version. We're going to go to the old chew the tires up scan for 120 lapper, and that's going to be at noon. I guarantee you that will be hot, and tires will be at a premium, especially in a league where you see the tire set limit. It is 2. So you're going to have to double send a set of tires at Atlanta, and that'll be very interesting to see. We'll go to Iowa for 150 laps, followed by Las Vegas at nighttime. Talladega, that's always the wild card. That's always the wild card race, which we saw in your league, where crazy things happen. And
yes,
crazy things happen, and guys that don't race with roof and fenders wind up in victory lane. So that was fun. And then the championship round will be at Homestead, 130 lapper at night. Again, a tire set limited race. And I guess that's what I love so much about watching this series in particular, is leagues that have these tire set limits. They tend to be extremely cerebral races. You have to really think about what you're doing. And kudos to Derek, because this has been a lot of fun for me to call it. I'll sit around and watch car races and talk about car races all day. And so definitely enjoy it. For Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul, everyone at P1 Broadcasting, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that there are several drivers in this series that were affected by both the prior hurricane and the one that's about ready to come through Florida. And so everybody that's at home getting ready for the storm or is involved in the storm or cleaning up after it, be well, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you on the track when you get back. We also want to thank all of our first responders, the military, police, firefighters, EMS, all of those people that do the job at night so that we can sleep safely. We definitely appreciate you. Again, Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul for P1 Broadcasting. Good night, everyone. Keep going fast and having fun.